Waiting for anything you're excited for can be hard, and knowing that wait is going to be multiple years is even harder. But luckily, you can pass the time with wild speculation and somewhat informed guesses. I am Bon, and today I am going to chat about when I think the next Mass Effect game will be releasing, some of the reasons I think what I think, and some things that may directly impact the release time frame. For the too long did not watch, I pretty firmly believe the next Mass Effect game will release sometime in 2025 due to various factors that I will explain in the rest of this video. If you want to hear my deeper thoughts and reasoning behind these ideas, please stick around. When talking about when a game will come out, it's important to first talk about the general stages of a game's development, which was also done pretty well in the last BioWare blog. First, you tend to start in a conceptual and prototyping stage where the basic idea of the game is developed, what you'll do in the game is decided, and a narrative gets started. This is often the longest part of development because it can be done by a small team potentially before the game is even announced. Second, an extension of the first step is pre-production, where you start to finalize mechanics, settings, stories, scripts, and set the leadership positions and staffing. This is essentially when you plan how the game will be made, so you know how to get your full production team to work the most efficiently and, in theory, as quickly as possible. Last, full production begins, and this is the stage that is most known about and tends to be a lot shorter than most people think, being roughly 2 to 3 years for most games, unless there are huge hiccups or issues. This is when the smaller pre-production team is joined by a large number of devs and artists to actually start making the game, and in a large studio like BioWare, it tends to mean a large number of people will be joining from another game that has just released. So, at this point, we know a few things about where the next Mass Effect game falls in this timeline. In the recent BioWare blog, it was stated that Mass Effect is, quote, actively prototyping new ideas and experiences, unquote, right now under the leadership of Mike Gamble. We also know that over the last year and a half, there's been a flurry of hires done by the Mass Effect team specifically, as well as 8-ish leadership positions currently listed as being open on the project. When speaking to a developer from another AAA studio about what this may mean about the status of the game, they guessed it was probably leaving conceptual or prototyping and moving into full pre-production due to the nature of the jobs being listed. These jobs are not already filled also seems to suggest we're in the middle of pre-production, as they need leadership roles filled in order to take on a full production team in an effective and efficient way. So, what does this mean for the potential release date? From these previous facts talked about and my conversation with some devs, quote unquote, in the know, it seems to confirm the idea that the full production will begin in late 2023 when Dragon Age 4 releases and the majority of their production team becomes available. This was rumored by Jeff Grubb recently on one of his shows. It is technically possible for them to start full production earlier, but unless they're going to do some secret hiring that we're unaware of, it seems like they simply do not have the numbers to do that right now. Therefore, if we assume an 18-month production cycle, very short, or up to a 2-year cycle, we'd be looking at the game coming out sometime in 2025. Of course, this would be the quote-unquote best-case scenario in many ways, and as we've all learned over the last few years, that can never be assumed. We also have to remember that the game will probably be running in the new engine to BioWare, Unreal Engine 5, which may cause some difficulty, but there is also some indication that much of how Unreal 5 works may potentially make production more efficient and faster than expected. To wrap this up, I'll say that 2025 likely is the best potential for when it may release, but 2026 could happen if things don't go smoothly, or if they simply need more time for polish and to make more advanced features to be added in or worked on. At the end of the day, I think we can all balance our excitement with our desire for a great game in this franchise and for its developer to try to get back to the status they once had. Thank you for watching this video, and if you want more, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, be notified of new videos by hitting the bell, and maybe check out my other content. Check out my gaming podcast, The EchoCast, on all podcast platforms, including iTunes, Spotify, and this very YouTube channel. Also, check out my stream over at twitch.tv/BondDiesel. I am BondDiesel on Twitter and almost everywhere else on the internet. And that's all I have. So until next time.
Missing someone.